Hello and welcome to this edition of Channel 8 News. On this edition of Channel 8 News, the Sunflower Showdown took place earlier this week. See K-State fans' reactions to the game.
And get the latest scoop from Aggieville about Kites and Rusty's last chance joining forces.
You know, John, another thing that people might not have expected this week was that snow that we woke up to Monday morning.
You know, I think it really blew everybody back. I don't think anyone was really expecting that much snow and, within that short of a period of time. But we'll actually, coming up next, we'll have first weather for Channel 8's Chelsea Luth coming up next.
This is Channel 8 News, KKSU LP. For Manhattan and Riley County. From Kansas State University, this is Channel 8 News.
Well, hello, Manhattan. Yeah, the snowstorm certainly did take everyone by surprise. And within this weather forecast, we'll be taking a look at that and the rest of this week's weather. So stay tuned to us to find out more about what this week will look like.
Thanks for the quick update, Chelsea. We will have a full look of weather coming up later on in our show. The National Bio and Agro Defense Facility project on the corner of Kimball and Denison has been put on hold. Channel 8 reporter Shelby Danielson has more. Shelby?
Thanks, guys. You may have noticed the lack of workers on the National Bio and Agro Defense Facility construction site this week. That is because the estimated $650 million project is losing support in Washington. President Obama recommended in his federal spending plan on Monday that no additional funding be allocated. He asked the Department of Homeland Security to reevaluate the NBAF project. NBAF is scheduled to be fully operational in 2018. 300 jobs would be created for Riley County as soon as the doors open. The community would benefit from these jobs as the average salary with benefits is about $75,000 per year. Missouri State Senator Chris Steininger said a big project like NBAF is naturally a target when the federal government looks to cut spending. He labeled NBAF as an overhyped, overpromised federal project. Kansas Governor Sam Brownback says this change of direction leaves our country vulnerable as taxpayers are left paying for the reassessment President Obama is calling for. However, Brownback remains confident. He says the project could take another 5 years of fighting to regain the funding, but NBAF is the Kansas delegation's top priority. So the question is the money for NBAF really going to dry up, or is this more Washington politics? Sorry, back to you guys.
Thanks for the update, Shelby. We will be sure to keep you updated on all new NBAF developments as they come.
It's common knowledge that students will do crazy things just to get seats for the K-State basketball games, and Monday was no exception. We did now send it over to Brian Brockelman, who has the story for us.
Hey, thanks, guys. 6 a.m. on Monday morning brought out K-State students dedicated to their sports in line for the K-State game, as well as Monday morning we saw a lot of snow, and with that came the K-Staters. It took an unexpected twist, and many of these students were baffled by the snow.
Let's go! And they're off. It's a race through the snow to be the first in line. Waiting in line for the game has become an annual tradition, and this year was no exception. One student arrived at 4 a.m. in order to secure the first spot in line.
I got here at about 4 o'clock this morning.
4 o'clock in the morning, okay.
Yes, we were here for part of the night last night, camping over in Jardine, and then we came back this morning.
With the typical shifts in Kansas weather, the first significant snow of the season just so happened to be on the night before the KU game. With temperatures in the 30s, students had to fight the bitter chill of the weather along with a 12-hour wait. Hats, gloves, and mittens were a common sight in the line. Everyone enduring the wait was fighting to keep warm. For one student, sprinting across the parking lot to get a spot was a good way to warm up.
And I've been here since about 5:45, scouting out the area, getting ready to run. It's a great time. Yeah, we got a good sprint in. Legs were nice and loose, kind of tightened up now, but it's just the way it goes.
When sprinting was no longer an option, he used other means to try and keep warm.
Man, I just got to think warm thoughts. I'm thinking about toaster ovens. I'm thinking about hand warmers. I'm thinking about beach on, Maui somewhere. It's just, that's how you do it.
Although our Wildcats couldn't get the win on Monday night, I doubt many of the students regret their time waiting in line. Sometimes the wait is a rewarding experience all on its own. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brian. The Wildcats will be back in action this Saturday, and we will have more on K-State basketball later in our sports update.
There are a lot of exciting new things happening in the bar scene down in Aggieville. Channel 8 reporter Cassie Gersner has more.
Thanks, Taylor. The nation's #1 college sports bar is expanding its atmosphere. I caught up with local bar owner Rusty Wilson to find out more. The tweets and signs in Aggieville are true. Kites and Last Chance are joining forces.
I feel that I can just take the Kites experience and expand it over to the Rusties and make it one fabulous, large place, something Aggieville's never seen.
But it won't be like the bar everyone was used to going to. He has some new ideas for a fresh start.
Last Chance is going to get a bath. It's going to be cleaned up really well. We're going to reintroduce a new menu over there and change the design of the layout of the inside of the restaurant and make it so it's inviting again.
Rusty's Last Chance reintroduced a new menu earlier this week, so if you're looking for a new spot for lunch, you might want to check them out.
Thanks, Cassie. You know, it will be interesting to see how a bar that big will do in Aggieville.
I'm interested to see also is the kind of the business it brings in, especially since 2 new bars were just actually opened up just not too long ago. So it should be quite interesting. But, well, we've got to take a quick break here at Channel 8, but up next, I talked to Governor Sam Brownback on what Kansas plans to do with less and less funding from Washington. That on more and on Channel 8 News.
I'm Mary.
I'm Daniel, also known as Flo.
And this is the Wildcat 91.9.
Award-winning and student-run, the Wildcat plays rock. They play urban, they even play dubstep. Sometimes things get a little crazy. Their DJs talk news, sports, technology, pop culture. They even packed 4 guys into a van to send to the Cotton Bowl.
It's a long way to go, but we do it for you. We're the Wildcat 91.9.
The season of elections is here and starting to heat up, with the candidates trying to push their way through the national primaries while others try to win local elections.
Yes, the political bandwagon passed through Manhattan recently, and Governor Brownback stopped by for a Republican fundraiser. I got a chance to talk with him about the state affairs for Kansas.
A meet and greet for the locals on a recent visit in Manhattan, where alum and politician Governor Sam Brownback made a rare appearance at Manhattan's own Holiday Inn. A Republican breakfast was held, and its purpose was to help with fundraising money for the Republican Party and to help support the Republican candidates who are running for Senate and other offices in the state of Kansas. But Governor Brownback had his own agenda for this fundraiser. He wanted to send a message about the economy and the federal government's involvement.
We've got to prepare for the federal bubble to burst, which is what's starting to take place now. Almost every conversation I have with a federal official right now is about less money coming to the state of Kansas, less money in the system. How do we cut back on this? How do we do that with less?
But Brownback is not sitting and letting the problems in Washington ruin Kansas. So Brownback has created his own plan.
I proposed a budget that had 7.5% ending balance. That's roughly $465 million. We're proposing a flat tax so we can create a growth environment so we have more growth taking place within the state of Kansas and trying to constrict our cost structure.
With the problems we face as a nation, Brownback said it's important for the people of Kansas to address these issues now rather than later.
But it is still a task, and I think it's our time. And that's what we're going to stand for as a party and moving it on forward. Thanks for being out this morning. God bless you all.
Having said that it was a fundraiser for the Republican Party, were you able to find out how much money was actually raised?
I was, actually. I was able to, it was actually fascinating to watch, to be honest with you. They raised over $6,000 within about 10 minutes' time, which made it mind-blowing, to be honest with you. And that was just there in Riley County. Imagine if the amount of money that would actually be made somewhere like Los Angeles, New York, or a bigger area. So, quite fascinating.
Well, thanks for that story, Don.